Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm back to do a couple Eddie Murphy movie reviews. And when's the last time I've seen an Eddie Murphy movie? It's been a while. Because I haven't been following his career lately. And back in the 80s, his career was red hot. When he first started Saturday Night Live, no one could touch him. Not even Richard Pryor's the best comedian out there, but Eddie Murphy was pretty much on top of his game, even being close to beating out Richard Pryor for a little bit, anyways, on Saturday Night Live, and then he came out with a comedy special called Eddie Murphy Delirious, and then if some of these are out of order, forgive me, I'm doing this on memory. He did the classics, 48 Hours and Trading Places, and then he fell out of the critics loved him until Best Defense, which he said was a lousy movie too. And that's when the critics started the love and hate relationship with Eddie Murphy. And I saw Best Defense in Germany. I find a few years later, and I thought the first 20-25 minutes were really funny. Then I thought the rest of it kind of really fell apart. But I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. And then Beverly Hills Cop, when he got in everyone's favorite good graces again, and the critics loved him again. And then Golden Child, where the critics hated, but with a big hit. And I'll be reviewing that movie too. I just saw it again after all these years. And what else did he do? And then he pissed off all the critics with Eddie Murphy Raw. And I ended up seeing that in Fort Gordon, Georgia. We were on something called Phase 4, which is like after base training, you're put on like Phase 4 for 2 weeks in AIT. And I got off it early because I volunteered to do 12 hours CQ duty. And one of the first things I did when I got on my civilian clothes, after sleeping, so I got on my civilian clothes, I was taking off to Phase 4 early. I went to eat at Burger King. Definitely, Burger King was king back then. And then I went right to the movie theater to see Eddie Murphy Raw. I'll never forget it. I loved it. And then not too long after, I saw Beverly Hills Cop 2, where the critics hated, but I loved that too. And then when I got home from AIT, my mom took me to Cinema World, and we saw Coming to America. Now that's another movie the critics loved, so he was back in the critics' good graces. And then Germany came, and he did a much hyped Harlem Nights, which really the critics really turned their backs on him after that. I loved Harlem Nights. I saw it there, but a lot of the critics and a lot of the fans were complaining about the amount of profanity. They said there was too much swearing in it. Well, some people were, and the critics were too, and they hated it. But I liked the movie. And then I'm trying to think what else. And then he did another 48 Hours. The critics hated it. I saw that Fort Bragg, and I barely remember that movie. And then after I got out of the Army, he did Boomerang, when I saw it, Cinema World, Distinguished Gentleman, and he did some other ones the critics hated. And then Nutty Professor really put him back in everyone's good graces again. And then he did a bunch of voice work for like Mulan and Shrek, and that really helped him out. His voice work is very good. But let me go back to Eddie Murphy Delirious. Now, I never saw Eddie Murphy Delirious till just a few hours ago. And the reason is my friend Dave Orloff, when I was in high school, let me borrow a cassette tape called Eddie Murphy Comedian. And basically my recording was very primitive at the time. My sister had a tape player. I had a tape player. And what I did was I put a blank cassette in my tape player, put Eddie Murphy in my sister's tape player, and then just played that and recorded at the same time. Just held it over there. I was like, no talking while I'm recording. And I was in my room by myself, and I didn't want just say don't hang around while I'm recording. I just wanted to make a clean copy of that. And that's how I used to record stuff. It's more primitive back then. And it was pretty much the whole routine for Eddie Murphy Delirious. So I was like, well, no reason to get Eddie Murphy Delirious then. And it was all over, it was all over the place, especially in Germany. I told my roommate, Jeff Moscone, I never saw it. He's like, you never saw Eddie Murphy Delirious? I said, no. Because I have that on tape. So there's no reason to get it, even though I end up renting a main copy of the best Eddie Murphy Saturday Night Live. I've seen all those skits before. And since then, it's been on my mind. I was like, man, I should probably see Eddie Murphy Delirious, just see the visualization of the jokes and stuff. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then I saw The Golden Child was on there, and I haven't seen that in a while, and I'm going to be reviewing that too. I started watching Golden Child. I started thinking about Eddie Murphy Delirious. So like, what the hell? I better type up and see if it's on Netflix. And it is on Netflix. So I watched that first, and it's a great movie. A lot of fun. And there's also different skits. It's only like an hour and 8 minutes. And there's other skits that were not on the cassette. But I pretty much know most of the skits by heart. And it was cool seeing the other stuff, even though I will say that he did the haunted house thing, saying that white people stay in the house and then black people would leave once something scary. He kind of ripped that off Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor did that much better when he was doing the Exorcist spoof back in one of his early classic albums from the 70s. But it's a very entertaining movie. I give that a 10 out of 10. Now let's go back to The Golden Child. Like I said, the critics hated The Golden Child, and I remember when I was in high school, it came out in 86. It came on my junior year of high school, I'm pretty sure. All the kids were talking about it. It was a huge, huge hit. And I rented it in the summertime, and no one wanted to see it. And it was weird that I didn't see it that night. I saw it that morning. And I think my sister watched it with me, or she might not have. I don't remember. And it's kind of like a cross between Beverly Hills Cop and Big Trouble in Little China, even though it's nowhere near as good as Big Trouble in Little China. Big Trouble in Little China was awesome. But this was like, I'm talking about this kid. I had to wet my whistle. In Tibet, they had all these magical powers. And they kidnap him. They said they have to keep like 4 sides of evil around him at all times. And he has like this touch. You can't, and he can bring like dead things back to life and stuff like that. And, don't touch him, or he might turn like a bad guy into a good guy and fight for him and stuff. And in comes Eddie Murphy, and he works. They said child welfare, but I think he works with the cops for kids' cases, trying to find lost children. He looks for this one girl, and ends up she gets killed. And he meets this one girl that wants him to help him find the golden child. And I don't want to give much more away. It's like an action adventure kind of. I think the comedy is really forced. There's the thing when he says the chosen, when he started mugging for the camera, that was kind of like out of desperation, I think. I didn't think it was that funny. The kids in high school said it was really funny. I didn't think it was all that funny, but I thought it was very interesting. And I liked some of the action adventures, not too bad. But nowhere near as good as Big Trouble in Little China. And 2 of the actors from Big Trouble in Little China, James Hong and Victor Wong, I think his name is, were in that movie too. And I give that probably a very mild, very mild 7 out of 10. I would say 6.5, but I would say very mild 7 out of 10. It's not as good as I remember it when I first saw it. But sometimes movies hold up, like Back to the Future and stuff. This one didn't hold up as well. I remember some reading a review saying that this was a monster hit back then, but does anyone even remember what it's about? I remember the stuff at the beginning with him arguing with the talk show host. I remember seeing that when I saw it a long time ago. I remember that thing with him walking on in that one room where he couldn't spill the water. I remember that part. But I only saw it once a long time ago. I said, what the heck, I can see it again on Netflix, so I did. So there's my review of Eddie Murphy's Delirious and Eddie Murphy's Golden Child. And like I said, I saw Boomerang at Village Cinema, and then he did Distinguished Gentleman. My sister wanted to see it. I didn't go see it at the theater, and she said it sucked. I saw it on cable, and I enjoyed it. I'm trying to think what else he did. He made big waves when he did Beverly Hills Cop 3, where the critics hated, but I enjoyed that. I saw that on cable. I thought that was pretty decent. Like I said, he really he did Vampire in Brooklyn, which I really liked. I didn't see that till much later. I think what else I definitely saw Nutty Professor. One lady at work let me borrow it for the night, and then I gave it back to her. I really enjoyed that. That was the one the critics did like. He said it was a scumbag movie. Not scumbag. Did I say scumbag? His comeback movie. He did Metro after a cop action film, and I thought that was pretty decent. I saw that on cable. And then the only other Eddie Murphy movie I saw on at the theater was Mulan, and he did voice work for that as the dragon. And then he went on to do voice work for the PJs, which I really liked. I watched that a lot on Fox. And also the Shrek movies. I only saw the first Shrek movie. See what other Eddie Murphy movies I saw. I saw Mulan, and I didn't see too many after that. I didn't see the second Nutty Professor movie, The Clumps. I should see that. I saw Norbit I saw that. I saw Bowfinger. And I started this year, a month or so before my dad passed away, I started watching I Spy, me and my dad, and I gave up on my dad did too. We both hated it, so we didn't see that. Trying to think if there's any other Eddie Murphy movies I've seen. That might be all of them. There might be one or two other ones, but I can't think of them right now. Well, I saw another 48 Hours in Fort Bragg, if I didn't remember. I did mention that. I barely remember that, except for like one of the coolest camera shots ever. But that was like about 20-25 seconds of an otherwise unforgettable, otherwise forgettable movie. So, that's my reviews of Eddie Murphy Delirious, 10 out of 10, and Golden Child, a very mild 7, almost a 6.5 out of 10 for Golden Child. So until next time, bye please. Take care, my Legion.